Every day, thousands of new businesses are launched on pure enthusiasm. But to move beyond an amateur dream, an idea requires a highly structured plan. Survival in a competitive market starts with engineering the business on paper long before it opens its doors. This is the role of the project report. It is a feasibility study that ruthlessly evaluates the venture across its managerial, technical, and marketing dimensions to identify fatal flaws before they become expensive realities. These reports rely on specific financial metrics to prove a project is viable. The internal rate of return, or IRR, calculates the project's profitability relative to its cost, while the debt service coverage ratio ensures the business can actually afford to repay its lenders. Without this mathematical validation, a founder is operating without a structural safety margin, launching into the market with a foundation that hasn't been stress tested. Once the math is solid, the company must be legally established. In the eyes of the state, a business does not exist until it is formalized and integrated into the national data network. For micro and small enterprises, this begins with Udyam registration. This digital, Aadhaar-based system verifies the identity of the founders and assigns the business a unique 16-digit identifier. To streamline this process, an expert committee recommended adopting a single unique enterprise identifier. By using an entity's PAN as its universal ID, the government aims to eliminate the duplication of efforts that occurs when a business registers with multiple agencies. This identifier is central to the National Single Window System, a tool designed to cut through administrative layers and consolidate the approvals needed to operate. Historically, the complexity of this regulatory phase has stifled new startups. Navigating this friction is the only way for a small industrial unit to officially participate in the broader economy. As paperwork clears, the focus shifts to physical scale. The abstract blueprint becomes a functional industrial unit, transforming raw materials into finished goods. The enterprise builds its foundation by training local labor and often utilizing backward integration, taking control of its own input supply to reduce reliance on external vendors. Establishing production is a technical success, but the market brings a new set of challenges. Under Chamberlain's economic theory, most firms operate in a space filled with close substitutes, where products are similar but distinct. This chart tracks how competition impacts the bottom line. Advertising and selling costs become critical survival weapons, driving the average variable cost and marginal cost curves. Adjusting one marketing element triggers a simultaneous shift in demand and internal cost functions. Running a production line without a quality assurance system to monitor these shifting variables is a major risk. Without constant oversight, the unit may produce inventory that no longer meets the needs of its target market. Scaling an operation requires capital, often provided by localized state systems like those in Himachal Pradesh, which are designed to turn job seekers into creators. The Chief Minister's Startup Scheme, for instance, provides the infrastructure for growth. It offers new ventures access to incubation centers, labs, and mentoring to navigate the early stages of business development. It also provides specific financial fuel, including a 5% interest subvention on loans up to 25 lakh rupees to help micro startups manage their initial debt. For larger projects in the service or industrial sectors, the HPS IDC offers term loans of up to 500 lakh, provided the project is technically viable and the promoters offer personal guarantees. While these loans manage expected operational risks, a business must also account for pure uncertainty, external shocks that cannot be forecasted. This makes insurance a necessary shield against the unpredictable. Institutional funding provides the energy to accelerate, but operating without a shield of insurance leaves the venture vulnerable to a single unforeseen event. Even a well-funded enterprise can eventually decline. When the machine falters and financial indicators turn negative, it enters a dangerous phase of instability. Economists define industrial sickness with a specific numerical trigger. It occurs when a unit's accumulated losses result in the erosion of 50% of its total net worth. This decay is often caused by internal pathogens, specifically a failure to continuously monitor management performance or an initial project appraisal that was too optimistic. External factors also play a role. Sudden changes in government policy or a sharp drop in global demand can compromise a unit that was already struggling with internal inefficiencies. Corporate failure is rarely a sudden event. It is a prolonged, silent sickness that often goes unaddressed until the unit's financial base is effectively destroyed. When an enterprise hits this breaking point, the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India provides a framework for managing the fallout. The process is led by insolvency professionals. Their role is to evaluate whether the operational core of the company can be restructured and saved, protecting the interests of its employees and stakeholders. Meanwhile, registered valuer organizations are tasked with determining the objective worth of the remaining assets, providing a clear picture of what can be salvaged. These strict valuation matrices ensure that creditors, suppliers, and lenders are systemically and fairly compensated from the liquidation of the business. Bankruptcy is not the end of the story, but a mechanism of economic recycling. It allows salvaged resources to be redistributed, clearing the way for the next generation of industrial units to emerge.